wondered why you feel tired or sick after eating certain foods? Well, there's a secret ingredient lurking in many of our meals, and it's impacting our health in ways we may not even realize. This ingredient is a huge part of a $100 billion industry, and it's time we learn more about it. From where it comes from to how it affects our bodies, we'll explore the surprising truth about this pervasive component in our diets. You won't want to miss out on our journey as we uncover the alarming impact of a $100 billion ingredient, unveiling its detrimental effects on your food. Let's go back in time to 1829 when new machinery made it possible to use cotton seeds, a byproduct of cotton production, to extract oil that could be used for lamps and machinery. Later in the 1880s, Thomas Hutnut invented a way to extract oil from corn germ, which was previously considered waste material. Soon after, corn oil began to be used as cooking oil, and the Hutnut mills were selling millions of gallons of corn oil per year. In 1911, Procter & Gamble introduced a new product called Crisco, which was made from cottonseed oil and looked a lot like lard, a common cooking fat at the time. Procter & Gamble marketed Crisco as a cleaner and cheaper alternative to lard and spent a lot of money on advertising. As a result, Crisco became very popular among consumers. In the early 1900s, a new product called Crisco was introduced and quickly gained popularity in the United States. At the same time, heart disease was becoming a significant health concern, but not much was known about it. Over the years, Crisco's advertising increased, and its sales skyrocketed. Finally, in 1948, the makers of Crisco donated a large sum of money to the American Heart Association, AHA, which helped the organization gain much-needed funding. The AHA used this funding to research heart disease and eventually recommended that people should replace saturated fats with polyunsaturated fats, like those found in vegetable oils, to prevent heart attacks and strokes. This recommendation was made in the 1960s and is still followed today as a way to maintain a healthy heart. Did you know that vegetable oil consumption has increased massively over the past few decades? In the past, we used to eat close to 0 grams of vegetable oil, but today, it's become a billion-dollar industry. However, there is a debate among experts about whether this increase in vegetable oil consumption is bad for our health or not. Some people have reported that they've experienced health benefits, such as weight loss and relief from ailments like arthritis and irritable bowel syndrome, by removing vegetable oils from their diet. While there is a correlation between vegetable oil consumption and health issues like obesity and diabetes, it's important to note that this is just a correlation and not a proven cause and effect relationship. Why do some animals live longer than others? Did you know that the size of an animal is often related to how long it lives? But there are some exceptions to this rule. For example, humans can live much longer than we might expect based on our size. Scientists have discovered that the cells of animals that live longer are made up of fats that are harder to break down. On the other hand, the fats in our cells that are easy to break down don't allow us to live as long. Unfortunately, many of the vegetable oils we eat contain a type of fat that is very easy to break down. This fat, called linoleic acid, accumulates in our bodies over time and can be harmful. Studies have shown that the amount of linoleic acid in our bodies has nearly doubled in recent decades. This is important because linoleic acid is associated with several health problems. So, it's important to be mindful of the types of fats we consume. There was a research study conducted in Minnesota many years ago called the Minnesota Coronary Survey. It had more than 9,000 people who lived in institutions, and the researchers carefully controlled what they ate. For 5 years, the people in the study were given 2 different meals. One was cooked with vegetable oil and was low in fat, while the other was cooked with animal fat and had more fat. Even though the food looked the same, the only difference was the kind of fat used to cook it. This study was very well organized and had plenty of funding to make sure it was done properly. It is still considered one of the most thorough diet studies ever conducted. So what did they find out? Well, the people who ate the vegetable oil had lower cholesterol than the people who ate the animal fat. This was good news. But strangely enough, the people who ate the vegetable oil didn't live any longer than the people who ate the animal fat. This was surprising because everyone thought that eating low-fat vegetable oil meals would help you live longer. Why are vegetable oils bad for health? The average person in America eats a lot of vegetable oil every day, which is not good for their health. It's almost impossible to get this much oil from natural sources like corn or grapes, so companies have to use a complicated process to get the oil out of tiny seeds. This process can make the oil go bad very easily, which is not good for your health either. It used to be better when McDonald's cooked their fries in beef fat instead of vegetable oil. This is because the fat in beef is not as easily damaged as the fat in vegetables. That's why it's important to store your vegetable oil in a cool, dark place so it doesn't go bad too quickly. How vegetable oils are made. Did you know that the process of making vegetable oil can damage its quality? The process involves heating the oil to very high temperatures, which can cause it to go rancid and produce an unpleasant smell and taste. The oil is heated so much during the production process that it needs to be deodorized to remove the bad smell and taste. But even if you don't heat the oil, it can still become a problem. Vegetable oils contain a type of fatty acid called omega-6, which can oxidize and become toxic over time, even just sitting on a shelf. This means that consuming too much of these oils can lead to health issues like heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and obesity. Interestingly, there is a paradox in Israel where people consume a lot of omega-6 fatty acids through vegetable oils, but still have high rates of health issues related to their consumption. So, it's important to be aware of the quality of the oil you're consuming and not just assume that all vegetable oils are healthy. Do you ever feel more tired than you should be? Have you ever felt like you just can't muster enough energy to get through the day, no matter how much coffee you drink? It turns out that energy is a crucial part of how our bodies work. Think of it like a power source, and the tiny, microscopic things called mitochondria are like the batteries that keep us going. Mitochondria are found in almost every cell in our bodies, and they use the food we eat and the air we breathe to create energy in the form of a molecule called ATP. We make our body weight in ATP every day. But sometimes our mitochondria don't work as well as they should, which can cause problems. Researchers are finding that mitochondrial dysfunction may be linked to many different diseases, including heart disease and Alzheimer's. This is because the heart and brain need a lot of energy to work properly, and when our mitochondria aren't working well, we might feel tired or have trouble concentrating. There's even a drug called metformin that helps people with diabetes lose weight and manage their blood sugar. It works by helping the mitochondria work better. So, if you're feeling low on energy, it might be worth paying attention to your mitochondria. So where does vegetable oil come into play? Did you know that consuming vegetable oils can be harmful to our health? Research has shown that these oils can damage the mitochondria in our bodies, the powerhouses that generate energy for our cells. Think of mitochondria as a factory conveyor belt that produces ATP energy. This process involves passing electrons down the conveyor belt, which is the inner membrane of the mitochondria. The conveyor belt has a special ingredient called cardiolipin, which is essential for the production of ATP energy. Unfortunately, consuming vegetable oils can cause a peroxidation cascade, a chain reaction that damages cardiolipin. This can lead to a reduction in the ability of the mitochondria to produce energy, which can cause various health problems, including heart failure. Studies have shown that rats fed a diet rich in vegetable oils experienced a drastic reduction in cardiolipin levels, which led to mitochondrial collapse. This can worsen metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes. Therefore, it is important to limit the intake of vegetable oils to maintain good health. Why aren't more people talking about this? Have you ever wondered why people talk a lot about the health effects of sugar, but not so much about vegetable oils? Well, the reason is simple: sugar tastes great and makes us feel good. If it's removed from food, we can immediately tell the difference. On the other hand, vegetable oils are not easily noticeable and can be hidden in our food. We don't often think about the type of fat used to make our food. If someone replaced sugar in our coffee with an artificial sweetener, we would notice, but we might not be able to tell if the vegetables we ordered were cooked in canola oil or butter. It's easy to overlook the impact of vegetable oils on our health because we don't see or taste them the same way we do with sugar.